Today on Hey Auntie Chat, we are talking about dating. Let's listen to what the panel has to say.
Good morning and hello, and thank you everyone to Hey Auntie. I am super excited to have all of you, but I'm super duper excited because with me live next to me is my partner in crime, my daughter, and she's here in Las Vegas for a few days with her partner in crime, Michelle. So we are all hanging out today, and we decided, well, we're all together. Let's just do a Hey Auntie. So thank you very much for everybody being flexible with your time and being able to be on. So now I'm going to pass it over to Naya for some little housekeeping rules.
Okay. Welcome to Hey Auntie. We're going to start by introducing ourselves with our name, our age, and our beverage of choice. I will start. My name is Naya. I am 31 years old, 30 plus a week, really. And I am drinking a French 75. Hey, Auntie. Hey, Auntie Michelle, what are you drinking?
Okay, hi, Michelle, Princess Michelle, as my family likes to call me. And my drink of choice is also a French 75. Blurry, but it's real good. Real good. So, hey, Auntie Stacy.
Hey everyone. Hey Auntie. My name is Stacy. You know what? I'm sipping something very rare and very classic, which is some free Starbucks water.
Okay.
I gotta stay hydrated out here in these desert streets. So that's what I'm drinking today. Yeah, and I am 44 years young. All right, I'm gonna toss it over to Annette.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Auntie. My name is Annette, and it's okay. You can say Annette. I know everyone's used to Miss Christian. I am 58, proud to be a 58-year-old young lady. And what I'm drinking is a little mixture of my Sprite with a little bit of cranberry in it. Yeah. And I'm going to toss it over to Precious.
Hello, my name is Precious. I am 32. I almost said 33. So, and I am drinking throat coat tea just because I like the flavor. The flavor is really good. Hey, Auntie Robin, did you go yet? Yes.
Hey, Auntie. I'm Robin from the Big Apple, NYC. I'm representing the Bronx. That's where I be right now. So I'm sipping on some ginger ale zero and a little lemonade. I kind of like to mix my ginger ale zero with a little lemonade, and that's what I got right here. No, I'm gonna throw it over to Sheila, right? Okay.
Hi, I'm Sheila, aka Shea Butter. I am 29 years old. I'm from the X, Big Bronx in the house. And I am sipping on none other but a Prosecco, my favorite. So, hey, aunties.
So I didn't say what I was sipping on, and I just have lemonade with iced tea. I was the bartender for those, and I decided I would say sober for now. For now.
Today on our Hey Auntie, our topic is dating. What to look for, friend first, commitment or date, and what your thoughts are around that. So I don't want to start this one. My life is complicated. So I'll pass it on.
Okay, so I'm gonna start it out. Which I don't mind. And it's funny when we pick the topic, and just so people know how we pick these topics, we have a bunch of cards, colored cards with all the different topics, and it ranges from whatever to whatever. And before we start the show, one of us, it was me usually because I'm the one who has the cards, but somebody just picks a card and boom. Sometimes we do pray over it, Lord lead, whatever you want, quick prayer. And it is what it is. So here we go. So I'm not mad about starting this topic and starting. It's a funny thing, what I thought of when we realized what it was. I'm like, you know what? Back in the day, when I was younger and starting to date, I really didn't think about what to look for. It was always, ooh, he fine. Ooh, oh, he got a job. Oh, he got a car. Oh, I don't have to ride the train. Very surface level, right? Total surface level. So here it is, years later, and everybody should know on here, if does not know, I was married, got divorced, and at one point when that divorce was over, I was like, you know what, it's you and me, Lord. I don't need nobody. I don't want nobody. It's just you and me. Let's ride this thing. I'm gonna be in my ministry. I'm working. I'm traveling. I'm this. I'm that. But if you choose to give me someone, I literally wrote out my list, and I encourage all the young ladies to do that, single ladies to do that. Write out a list. It's not superficial. It's not phony. It's just like, you know what, Lord, these are the things I think I need. And whatever else you want to add onto it, you add. And on my list literally was, Lord, I want someone who I know. I don't, because I didn't want to have to go meet somebody new, get to know their family, get to know them, their quirks, this, and spend all this time, and it's a dud, right? And the other thing was, Lord, I want someone who cooks, because I hate cooking, hate it. Raised 2 kids, they're fine, they're healthy, and all the above, but I just didn't want to cook. So somebody who wanted to cook. Long story short, here we go. I've been married almost 6 years to my childhood sweetheart. Long story about that, we met in 6th grade, we dated in high school, we broke up, and 30 years later, the Lord blessed me with my childhood sweetheart, my high school sweetheart. And not only did he give me somebody who cooks, he gave me a chef, a whole chef. Does not, God answers prayer, okay? So that is what I was kind of looking for, but also in that somebody who understood me, somebody who knew how to love me and my quirkiness and know how to ride with me. Yes, stop laughing. I've got lots of quirkiness. And the killer is, I said to Gene, my husband, the other day, we were talking about something, and there was somebody said, oh, because you match my crazy. And I remember my son saying that at my wedding. He says, Mom is happy and you match her crazy. So I'm happy for y'all. So I needed somebody who's gonna match my crazy. And he does. And it's a good thing. So anybody else want to go after, talk about it? Miss Annette, I'm gonna go to you. Because I also, as I thought about the group, Annette and I are the married ones in this group, right? If I'm not mistaken, right? And so we could talk about it in our single ladies, talk about what you're looking for and how you go about it. Sometimes it's good to be friend first. I never did that. I never did that, except for G back in the day, but I never did that with anybody else I dated, which is, I think you need to be a friend because you got to have something to hold on to in the relationship besides a physical thing, or money. Go ahead, Miss Annette, I'm gonna let you talk.
It's surprising that I'm on this topic here. This August, me and my husband will be together 35 years. Yes. So, as far as the dating to the young ladies, I want to piggyback on what Auntie said. It is very important that you know who you are first. Know who you are as a young lady. You want someone that's going to compliment you, that's going to match you, and 9 times out of 10 or 8 times out of 10, you can already see when dating this person what they bring to the table. There is no perfect man, there is no perfect woman, but it's something about God when you pray, and I believe that too. Write out your list, write out what you're looking for. Write out really what you're looking for and what can this person do. The only thing on my list that has always been in my heart that I didn't put on my list was that I wanted him to be saved. That's just me. Okay, that's just me. He believed in God, but he wasn't living a saved life. Okay. So I'm just saying that's just something you might want. You might want them 6'2". I love them 6'2". That was one thing God didn't give me, was a 6'2". But it is okay because you can have a man, and if you treat him right, he'll act like he's 6'2" and give you and do almost anything you need him to do. But me and my husband, we were dating, we were friends first. I know my kids and even Naya can also say I was very old-fashioned, even with them in school. I was always telling the young ladies how they need to treat themselves and how they should carry themselves. The young ladies should be seen and not heard, the whole gamut. But I think even though it might seem like it's old-fashioned, it still has true qualities and values. And a lot of people may ask, well, what did you and your husband do? But even after children kept coming, we have 5 children. I have a bonus son, and we had 4. And I'm also a grandma now. And so we have 7 grandchildren. So I think I look good for a nana, keeping up with my babies and still teaching. But I think what you have to do, even after you find that person, you still need to date. And that was something me and my husband dropped off. But my oldest daughter, she said, Mommy, you and Daddy need to go back and date again. That's what keeps that spark. I was so old fashioned. He had to wait like 6 months just even to kiss me or to hold my hand because I was just that type of young lady. I had that standard for myself. And my brothers used to tease me, your standard is too high. I said, no, it's not that it's high, it's that I value me, and I didn't want anyone playing over me. And I think a lot of times, I know a lot of things have changed. I mean, even with my daughter, I've watched her being married, she got a divorce and she was the same way, like, God, it's in your hands, I'm a believer. And so I'm watching you young ladies, millennials, in the dating process. And I'm noticing it's pretty much the same. It's really not as far off as a lot of us think it is. And I've watched my daughter raise her standards up. I watched the young man that she's with now. Now he's my future son-in-law. And just really to watch love, and a lot of it is communication. So even in dating, I would tell you, young ladies, watch the signs. What is he bringing to the table? How is he treating you as a young lady? How does he treat his mom? How does he treat the women that is in his family? That's a big indicator. Have those conversations about money. Have those conversations. You put out those scenarios. Well, honey, what if so and so and so? How do you think we could do that? You'd be surprised. You got to hear also how he feels. How does he make you feel as a lady? Does he treat you like a queen? How does he treat you? You'd be surprised. All of those things in the dating, it carries over into marriage. It really does. So I just want to encourage you, young ladies, my beautiful young ladies out here, there is someone that's there. And I always believe, and like what Auntie said, even though her first one didn't work, look what God blessed her with, someone she knew. And I'm a firm believer. I agree with Auntie. You want someone that knows you, and my husband matches my crazy.
I want to say
another level. He matches my crazy. Yes.
it's a
So
good
you
thing.
need someone to compliment.
Thank you, Miss. I'm okay. I'm not gonna say Miss Christian. I'm now going to say Miss Annette. I'm gonna get there. Stacy, I saw you, and give me 1 second. I just want to tap into that. Knowing yourself, knowing your value, and this is a conversation I'm not afraid to have in front of Naya. I lost my value in my first marriage. Stuff started happening, and I just kept letting it happen and degrading me as the strong woman that I was. And it took me some time, and I needed that time after the divorce to find me again. And become a strong woman, and then a strong woman of the Lord. That it had to happen. Now, meeting Gene definitely treats me like a queen. I had to get used to him opening the car door for me. And that's big now for me. Open that car door. Like, even if I'm the one driving, he will go to my car, open the door, let me get in, and then he'll go to his side and sit down. I'm like, babe, don't worry. Sometimes we got stuff in our hands. I'm like, don't worry, I got it. Because nah. I'm gonna open that door. Like, that's big. And I had to get used to it because a single Black woman now, or even just previously, the previous person didn't do that. So then I was single, Black woman by myself, or just single woman by myself. It doesn't matter color, right? I was just going to do it all myself. Then I had to get used to that. And there's other things that he had to retrain my brain on. Stacy, go ahead.
Hey, thank you. So I just want to piggyback on Auntie and Miss Annette. I am 44 years young. The best relationship advice that I got was, yes, make that list. Be very specific about the desires of your heart, but take it a step further and become the list. Like, become what you're asking God for. Because I firmly believe that we don't attract what we want, we attract what we are. And a lot of times people don't want to hear that. I have been married, I have dated, I have been in a drought right now, okay? I'm out here searching just like everybody else. But I really feel like, and my heart always goes out to women, especially women of colors. It's in my prayer all the time for us to have love and belonging and all those things. But one of the things that I do want to say is that with dating is an opportunity for you to discover yourself. I think for me, I used to put a lot of pressure on the dating piece of like, is this the guy? Is that the guy? Is this the one? Right? Instead of using it as an opportunity to discover, what do I like to do? Where do I like to go? What's my conversation like? And then I also use it as an opportunity to find God, because just like Annette said, one of the things that's important to me now, which wasn't in my 20s or my 30s, I will admit that, is I was not looking for the Spirit of God. I was not looking for that presence when I was with the person, but now I recognize that was missing. And that wasn't the other person's fault. It was mine, because it was not something that I valued and prioritized. So now I'm like, even when I'm sitting at the bar with you or at a restaurant or walking outside, is the presence of God with us? Do I feel that or not? So that's one thing that is really on my radar right now too. But I use dating as an opportunity to have fun, to go to places that maybe I was going to go with by myself and bring someone else along. One of the things that I learned with dating is schedule a date doing something you were going to do anyway, because you know how it is. You get dressed, you put your makeup on, you got your whole night planned, and it can be a huge disappointment. Like, let's be honest, right? And the human body can only handle so much rejection and disappointment before it starts to alter and change. And that's what we don't want. So if you're going to go walk, invite him to go walk. If you're going to go to the gym, hey, let's meet up at the gym, right? Oh, I'm going to church. Let's meet up at the, so that way it doesn't feel like a loss or a disappointment. And you also get to see them in different environments, in different aspects, and you can really enjoy the process of dating. That's something I wish I would have learned 10 years ago. But life has really taught me that. And it's an evolutionary process. Like, it's going to change. How you view dating now is going to be different in 5 years or 10 years or whatever that is. But I appreciate you allowing me a chance to chime in, but become the list is my biggest advice.
I like that, Stacey. I like that a lot. Become the list. I'm gonna make y'all laugh. So with my first husband, I knew I hit the jackpot because he had a 1999 or not, whatever year it was, Nissan Maxima, top of the line. Oh, he got a car, y'all. I done won the jackpot. That's what I thought back then. I know that's sad, right? Does anyone want to go, or shall I pick on something? Go ahead, Miss Robin.
Okay, hey Auntie. So I would also like to piggyback on a lot of what was said already by Annette and by Stacey. Now, being a senior, I've been single for 7 years now. But prior to that, I was in long-term relationships. And I was not married. So, okay, there was fornication going on within the relationship, of course. And I didn't know Christ back then. So now, since I have come to submit my life to the Lord, my desires are different. I have changed. I no longer care if he's not the most finest thing in the room. I'm looking more toward his heart and how he treats me. And so that would definitely be on the list. But the one thing I had to do was actually to have the Lord reveal to me who I was in him, in my identity in him. So now that I have submitted to him and I live my life for Christ, it's really has changed how I feel about dating. I'm not so eager just to go out and find a man. So I'm waiting on the Lord so that he can find the right one for me. And maybe, and I hope that I can see him as the right one. I hope I don't say, no, Lord, this is not the one I want, because he doesn't the way I wanted him to look. He doesn't have a bald head, or he doesn't have a this, or he doesn't have that physique that I want, Lord. I'm just hoping that when he comes to me, that I will know, but that I will also be able to submit to him, because I had a big problem with submitting to men when I was in the world. I was Miss Independent. I was in the relationship, but I was still independent. I did my own thing. I had my own money. There wasn't no sharing, no bank accounts. Robin had to protect everything that was hers. I was the one with the apartment. You moved in with me. We did not come together and get an apartment. It was my apartment, my name on the lease. I'm sorry, I was a very selfish person in the world. I was very, I mean, I loved you and I was caring and I would, but I never really gave that submission, as in Ephesians, what the book of Ephesians say, that we are to submit to the husband as the man submits to God. I didn't know what that was like. So now, God, I said, you have to work on me before you put me in a relationship. Because if you put me there, I am not going to know how to behave. But now I know that I am the helpmate. See, I was the leader before, but now I am to be his helpmate. I understand what you want from me and for the kingdom. So I really don't have a list, but I'm working on it because I'm really quite happy right now. And I've been so busy. Oh my gosh. I don't know if it's the church that I'm in, but I just am so busy and sisters and fellowships. And I have never been this busy before in my life, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I would go out when I was clubbing and I was partying and whatever. But, I'm just busy, like opportunities like this to be a part of this panel, different types of fellowships, different types of prayer meetings, Bible studies. I have just never been so busy before, even with work. So I am working on my list. I'm getting it together, but I'm also trusting in the Lord. It will be upon when He's ready for me, when it's His timing. And and I'm okay because I'm still discovering who I am and my identity in Him. So I'm just waiting. And I'm okay because this world seems to be a bit crazy right now. I'm sure dating is just not what it used to be.
There's pee in the pool.
Pandemic and COVID.
There's diarrhea in the
I don't want
pool.
anybody touching me, whether you got kiss me. I'm like, I don't know. We got to you got papers? Have you went to the doctor lately? Like, I don't know, you took a COVID test. It's kind of crazy out there, So I mean, I'm happy where I am. I'm not for having another relationship, and I don't want just a relationship. It would be marriage. It would be, I'm not here just to date you. I am here because we're putting down roots and we're going to have a foundation and we're going to have a marriage. So I just don't want someone to date. So I have to work on my list, but I know ultimately the Lord's working on the list. So when it's prepared, the Holy Spirit will reveal it to me and I'll be ready for it. So basically, and as a senior, I kind of want to enjoy being a senior. I don't know what it's like to be a senior. This is like, sometimes I forget I am a senior because people go, you don't look 65. I don't, and I don't feel 65. I kind of feel like I just, just been out of high school and just working and just here and there, but I really don't know what a senior is supposed to do. So I'm just being me and I'm just, happy in the Lord and I'm just letting Him do His thing in me. So what you see in me is Him. So basically that's what how I feel about the dating world right now. But I'm open, but I'm not open to social media. I don't want to do no Christian bingo. I don't want to go on anybody's dating site. I don't want to do that. I want to meet you in the grocery store. I want to see you do your laundry. I want to see you go grocery shopping, see what kind of food you like to eat. I just kind of want to see you in a normal kind of a way. I don't want to see who you are on social media. So, I do want that kind. And to be honest with you, I don't want to meet you in church. People can say, oh, no, I don't want to meet you. Not, at least not in my church. I'm just being real. Maybe if I visited another church and I saw a brother looking kind of, and it might have been, but I don't go to church looking for. But
It's terrible.
Not at least not in my church. I'm going to my church for the Lord. I'm going to every church for the Lord. If you invite me to your church, I'm coming because I know the Lord is going to be there and His presence is going to be there, and I'm going to be there. But if there was a brother sitting over there, I might take a look. I might be like, oh, okay.
Let me pray for you. Let me pray for you.
That's okay. So after the service, maybe have a cup of coffee. Maybe go, and sit down and have a little bite to eat and fellowship, break some bread, and get into that bread of life, So you never know. So, but I'm not closed-minded. I'm very open to it. But I do know at this point in my life, it has to be led by the Lord. It just has to come from Him. And that's pretty much, Auntie, all I wanted to say.
No, that's a lot. That was a lot. It was wonderful. And
so funny. I know, but yeah, that's exactly how I feel. And I just feel so blessed by the Lord because He's teaching me. He's teaching me how to be when that mate does come, I'm ready. I'm ready. And I have put all that other stuff behind me. And then we can build a foundation that's built for the kingdom.
that's the most important thing. But I have to say, Robin, AJ, not but a number. I'm just like you. I feel like I am 19 years old. Like that's what I meant, G. When we feel like we're 19. The body knows we're not 19, but we feel like we're 19. But another thing that you said that was key is to be able to see him. I remember a sister who wanted a husband so bad, but he wasn't the whole criteria of what she wanted, and she kept saying no. And there was this one brother who loved her or wanted to love her and get to know her and all the above, and she was just like, no, because he's too hairy, he's this, he's too short, he's too that. And I'm like, but he's got a heart of gold. Are you kidding me? And she was just like, nah, don't want it. And she missed that boat. But anyway, all right, so Michelle's making jokes over here. So I see and I realize that our younger ladies haven't said anything yet. So either you're gonna raise your hand or I'm gonna pick you.
Well, I was gonna say something, so
Go for
I'm fine. Okay, so I agree with everything all the aunties have said. I've heard about the list. I've heard about become the list. I've heard about see him. I'm still struggling with the see him part, just in case. I don't know, because it's like, God, you know what I like, so please give me what I like. But then the other thing too that I've thought about is like, okay, so in the beginning, I wasn't thinking about these things, but as I've become an adult and as I've had to do these myself, what's your credit score like? Like, what is your bank account? How many bank accounts do you have? Do you have a savings account? Do you know how to manage money? Do you know how to maybe not buy that thing, but save up for that thing, like the needs versus the wants? And, do you know all of those things? And of course, those are also kind of surface, but those are things that I feel like when you're younger, you don't think about because you're not really spending your money or you're not making your own money. You don't really learn the value of money quite yet. And granted, money's not everything, but it's the currency of our world. So I need you to be financially literate, just like and if you're not financially literate, I understand, but are you willing to learn? Are you willing to invest and make those changes so that you can be financially literate? Those things are definitely interesting. I've also thought about aligning values. So like in addition to the list, thinking about like, what are my values that I guess would be considered non-negotiables, where, these are the things I must have, like peace. I need peace. I need accountability. I need, reliability, all of these things, whatever those values are, what do those things look like to me? And then do yours align? Not persuading you to align with me, but do they naturally align on your end as well? And what do those things look like for you? So I think those things have become like more in the forefront of my mind as I'm dating. But I did say there's pee in the dating pool. Michelle said it's diarrhea. I think it's pee. I think it's pee. It's real. I mean, maybe the diarrhea is in some sections, but I try to stay away from those sections. But there's definitely pee in the pool, and I feel like it's scary out here. It's definitely scary. And I feel you, Robin, do you have a COVID? Did you take a COVID test? Like, because these days we don't know what's out here. And I need to make sure you're not bringing that to me. So there's things in the forefront of my mind, but whenever it happens, it happens. My goal is to have fun in the meantime, and we'll go from there. I'm going to pass it on. Hey, Auntie Shea Butter.
Hey, Auntie Purpose. How y'all
I want to hear what Sheila got to say.
Yes, I kind of like this open dialogue. I felt like it was just like one voice, but feel free to chime in if you hear anything or resonate, make a little bit more. But yeah, so I think first things first, right? It depends on the type of woman you are, right? So a woman as myself, I have been living on my own since I was 18. I make over 6 figures. I have my business, Sipping with Shay, traveling bartender. I go all over. So there's certain things or credentials you have to meet. Point blank, period. Yep, I'm gonna cheers with you. I saw that. No, but seriously, definitely I would say he has to believe in God. Um, that's a number one, because I definitely was talking to somebody and then he said he didn't believe in God. I was like, oh no, you an African American brother, you good, but I was like, you didn't believe in God. So I was like, dang, to the left. However, comma, also in that same token, I'm not also, because I come from a family divorce, and it sounds like a lot of women on this panel come from divorce. I'm not really like that, keeping it real. I'm not really that pressed about like, oh, he got to do it, because clearly it ain't working. And a lot of people in my circle, my mom's circle, my family circle, and my dad, they not married. It ain't lasting. We got one mama over here, auntie, that's 35 years, and I love to see it. But it's just like, that's not something, and maybe that my heart got to be a little bit more softened in that area, because it's just been so bruised seeing and not having that. Like 10% of my friends are probably still together, and that's real in our generation. But they still got to believe in God. That is definitely important. But they also have to make at least 6 figures. I'm very big on that, because I have built a lifestyle for myself, and it's like, I know I'm not negotiating that. So money's up there. You also have to be intellectually stimulating. You have to stimulate my mind. I'm sorry. You cannot be boring or a little, hello? Anything up there? No? All right. I gotta go. I'm a traveling. My love language is traveling. So yes, high five or high. Feel free to come off. Free to chime in.
No, hold on, pause, because the recording's it says less than a minute, so it might cut off. So I want you to come back. So it's gonna kick us off. So everybody come back to the same link when it kicks us off. And Sheila, we want you to continue. She said yes, high five. High five.
Please let you know. For our 30 seconds, raise our class. But if you need water, take a to the aunties. So we get kicked off.
Okay, so hey auntie, I had a senior moment there. I forgot to tell you my age. I'm 65. I turned 65 this year in April. So I'm officially a senior and AARP, and I forgot to do that. That's a senior moment.
Something to be proud about, for sure.
I would love to also other people chime in on, yes, recordings in progress, was this idea of submission. And I think maybe because I'm a 90s baby's in the house, but I think submission is just like trust and other things. It has to be earned. It's not something that just because it is stated, it needs to be given, right? Because I think in the 60s, right, in that era, right, when men were working and women were at home, and there was a whole different gender roles, and gender roles were very female does this, male does this, then that could have been made sense. You the breadwinner, you're this. Now we've shifted. It's so much different. And I'm interested, from the mature, I'm not gonna say the elders, the mature and the younger, like how that plays, because it is very different in the sense of just I automatically submit because you my man. But first, let's clarify. Husband is when you're supposed to submit, not just boyfriend, not all this. If you ain't got that ring, I'm not submitted to anything, respectfully. And that's definitely open for everyone's dialogue, so we can get some voices to just chime in.
Yeah, I definitely think the submission thing, you have to like earn it, like you said. Give me a reason to submit to you. Like, I'm not just submitting to you because you have a penis. That's not how this working. So definitely give me a reason. Show me I can submit to you, because like you said, me submitting is me trusting. Can I trust you? Are you gonna hold it down? Like, if you're not, then what the hell am I submitting? I could do bad by my being. So
being a submissive wife previously, and then going through what I was going through, whoever just said it, it's a matter of respect. So then I started to lose the respect, because of the ish that you were doing. So then I don't want to submit to you. That's me just by chiming in on this submission. Anybody else, Miss Annette or Robin? Precious, you out there, girl. I see you.
Yes, and I miss your age, Precious.
32.
32. Okay. Go ahead, Precious. You have the floor, my dear.
So I am actually in a relationship. I have been in a relationship for 11 years now. And I have 3. One is my oldest son, he's not his, and I have 4 bonus. So we have a house full. Well, so but I don't want to get married. So I hear a lot of you ladies talking about marriage and all that stuff, but I just don't want to get married. Even though we've been together for a long time, I still don't think we're even ready for marriage. We've talked about it, started the process, and then I stopped. So submission is big. And I do believe you will submit to the right person. And I ain't saying he ain't my right person, but
it's all right.
I'm very independent. So I tried though. I did. I tried to stay home and watch the kids and do all that. It's just I don't want to be a housewife. I want to do as I please as far as my personal, my business, and I did in this relationship. I was able to discover myself and find myself and start the healing process. Though it's not over, I know that I have a lot more to do. But yeah, so at least I'm allowed to do that in this relationship. So it's going.
Question for you. So, in all respect, if you don't want to get married, so sometimes it's not for everyone, and I get that, and that's fine. But question: do you have a friendship? Like obviously, y'all going strong. You're 11 years in. You got children. Is the foundation there in the marriage? In the relationship? Is it solid?
It's rocky.
Every relationship is really gonna be rocky, quite honestly.
Right, it's rocky. So sometimes it's like and then it's like, you know what? I found me a 5-bedroom on the north side. I think I'm about to move.
Precious.
Both do it. Yeah. So, but we do so we have started doing new things like, all right, well, let's start, because I drink coffee. I'm a coffee drinker. He drinks coffee. So we'll say, okay, well, let's beat the kids up so we can sit at the table and drink coffee in the morning. Even if we're not talking to each other, we can still sit across the table and be in each other's presence and drink our coffee or plan or do whatever talking that we need to do, remind you of something that needs to be reminded. So every morning we do try to not miss our coffee in the morning just so that we can have conversations and talk. But me, I try to beat him up so that I can have a cup by myself and get my mind together. So I'm having 2 cups of coffee in the morning. So I can get my own meditation.
Do what you gotta do. That's right.
So that's going. I do see a lot of younger people, because I am young to be in a relationship for this long. So I do see a lot of younger girls just like, So
don't jump in yet. Don't jump all the way in.
Right. So I do agree with the creative friendship first, though. Definitely creative friendship first.
Yeah.
I do have a question. Oh.
Go ahead. Let me do Stacy first, Sheila, because she had her hand up. Put your hand up, Sheila. Put your hand up.
Raise your hand like you're in school. Can I go next? Yeah, you know what, Precious? I just want to applaud you for being in a committed relationship for 11 years at your age. That says a lot more about you than what you're disclosing to us. It says a lot about your character. And everybody has different relationship goals. And I think that's something we all have to respect, and we should. And you can learn a lot when you kind of open yourself up to other people's viewpoints. And I also applaud you for taking your time. There's nothing wrong with that. God makes all things perfect in time, and he will let you know when the time is right. And so just continue to trust that. I think sometimes we let other people's thoughts and ideas get in our head, or we're looking at what our parents did or what our friends did or what's happening or what society standards for what relationships should be like. And if we look at Jesus at 33, he was a single man. Right. With no kids, never been married. I mean, I'm not going to bring religion into this, but if we looked at him, he would be a failure as society standard, right? Because they're like, oh, you 33, you don't have kids, you're not married. Like, what's wrong with you? You know, so I really just wanted to just commend you for what you said, for where you're at, and continue to let God lead you. And you'll know when the time is right.
I would like to add, make sure y'all do compliment each other though. One thing we do actually compliment each other. So as far as like, our hustle, like, if somebody can't pull in, the other person pulls in. If one person, we do compliment each other like in those areas as far as where it needs to be. So that
And
works
it's
out for
working,
us.
right? And it's
Right.
working. And don't
That's
change it if you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? And you'll know
Right.
when to change it and which way to change it. Like Stacey just said, you know the timing on that, and can't nobody tell you.
Right.
And a characteristic, not just like Annette said, it can't be because he's 6 feet, 2, and muscles and a rib cage and all that stuff. No, it's something abs. What do you call it? Is there anything in my cup? I don't know now. An attribute.
You got some
one attribute. Everyone share one attribute. And Sheila is going to start it off because her hand was out.
We genuinely have to have fun together. I think I'm very extroverted. Clearly, I'm a traveling bartender, but we really have to have fun together. And it doesn't have to be necessarily defined by clubbing or this, but we have to have fun together. And I think that is a deal breaker if I notice that we don't.
Well, I don't know where to start. I don't even know where to begin. I definitely, being raised in church, like I share that fundamental, if I was dating somebody and they told me that they were an atheist, I would be like, why? But so I have those like spiritual, I feel like your relationship with God is your own. And if I could see that spirituality in you, that's good for me. And, I come from a family of divorce too. So even with that though, like when I was younger, I totally thought that like by 25, I would be married with one kid. I thought I would have, like the typical whatever marriage. And the older that I get, and I'm 30, by the way, I didn't say that at first, but I'm 30. The older that I get, I'm just like, and this is not, I don't need pity or sympathy. And I know I'm still young, so never say never. But the older that I get, I'm like, you think I'm about to get married in 2024? Like, I just feel like, and never say never. And it probably sounds like very narrow-minded, but I'm just like, I cannot imagine finding somebody that I like enough to want to marry them. Like I already, at this point in my life, I'm like, I don't really want kids. I don't think that's the path for me. So that's hard, finding like somebody else that doesn't want kids, because I feel like men like have that innate desire to procreate. And I was in a long-term relationship for 7 years, almost 7 years. And I've been single for 6 years at this point. And like I thought I was gonna marry that person. When that relationship ended, like it felt like it was the end of my world. And I, first of all, never want to feel like that again. And second of all, like now looking back, I can see like that was the best thing that ever happened to me, because I wasn't like strong enough to leave that relationship myself. And like, looking back, I could see that it wasn't the healthiest and it wasn't necessarily good for me, and it probably wouldn't have lasted, like maybe if we would have got married, we probably would have got a divorce. So and it's diarrhea in the pool. It's diarrhea in the pool. And so I guess like, I don't know, when I date, I'm like, I'm also, now I've like done a complete 180, and I'm kind of scared of commitment at this point. So when I date, on one hand, because I'm a woman and I feel like it's natural for us to be like, oh my God, could this be something? On one hand, I'm doing that, and then on the other hand, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna delete your number like after I go home, you know? So I don't know. At this point, I know I'm young, but like for me to, but I'm glad that I see this now, because I'm like, for me to incorporate you into my life, like you have to hit on all the points, you know? And I have written a list before. I think I need to update my list because I can't find it. But so I'm gonna need to rewrite that list. But you know, if it's meant to happen, it'll happen.
Okay, so
If not,
question. So yes, update the list, because the list should be updated because you change, you evolve. As you get older, you enter another generation per se. You've whatever that may be. So if we could just go around and each person share what is one thing on your list for your mate. And if you all say the same thing, it's fine, whatever. But if you can truly think, not the same, but everybody might say, you know what I mean? Golly gee whiz. And a characteristic, not just like Annette said, it can't be because he's 6 feet, 2, and muscles and a rib cage and all that stuff. No, it's something abs. What do you call it? Is there anything in my cup? I don't know now. An attribute, one attribute. Everyone share one attribute. And Sheila is going to start it off because her hand was out.
We genuinely have to have fun together. I think I'm very extroverted. Clearly, I'm a traveling bartender, but we really have to have fun together. And it doesn't have to be necessarily defined by clubbing or this, but we have to have fun together. And I think that is a deal breaker if I notice that we don't. You're muted though.
Pass it on to somebody. After you speak your one thing, pass it on to somebody, okay?
Okay, sounds good. I'm passing it on to Auntie Stacy in the pink blouse.
Thank you, Sheila. Okay, so outside of God, I would say someone who is nurturing. I've been through a lot in the last 7 months physically, and I was like always wondering, like, who's really gonna be there for me? Like, who's gonna help me? I don't want to be that person who has to be the nurturing person in the relationship only. So that is a quality that I am definitely looking for outside of his relationship with God. I'm going to pass it on to Auntie Robin.
Okay, thank you, Auntie Stacy. So I would say I want him to be able to know me, and I want him to be able to make a decision. You know how some guys, you go out, they just don't, whatever you want. No, I want you to be able to make sound-minded decisions about our future, about our life together. I don't want to be the one, making all the suggestions and go, oh yeah, that's a good idea. No, so I want a man who can sit in the driver's seat and, and I'm very comfortable with that. And I know that I'm going in the right direction with you. So that's something that that's definitely got to be on my list. I want that, because I was with men who kind of just wanted me to make all the decisions. Where are we going to go for vacation? Oh, wherever you want. Don't you have it? Whatever you want. No, I want you to be able to know me, know what I like, know what I won't like, and then you can plan that for us. And I can be comfortable with that. And just to talk to Precious, before I was single 7 years ago, I was in a relationship for 25 years. So it was like we were married. Like we would walk, everyone said, oh, your wife, your husband. I would go, no, that's not my husband. I made it sure, we've been together for 25 years, but he's not my husband. And I also, Sheila, had a lot of divorce going on in my family, and I never wanted to be married. I had a child out of wedlock. I was with with my son's father for 25 years. I was in long-term relationships. I didn't really date a lot of quick, years. When I went into a relationship, it was a long-term relationship. So 17 years, 25 years, but I wasn't married to either one of these men. And I didn't want to be married. But now at 65, I have a whole different outlook about what I want. And now it won't happen without marriage.
Robin,
like I just don't want a relationship.
Okay, Robin, before you pass it on, you just said something. So you had the 25-year relationship and the 17-year relationship, and you didn't want to get married. And the reason why you didn't want to get married, I'm just curious.
Because I never saw successful marriages in my family. My parents were divorced. My aunts were divorced. My cousins were divorced. I mean, there were very few marriages that went long term. Either they got married and they were divorced. Like my parents divorced after 30, 40 years of marriage, they divorced. So I never saw anything that I would say, no, I'm okay, we're good.
Okay, sounds good. I'm passing it on to Auntie Stacy in the pink blouse.
Thank you, Sheila. Okay, so outside of God, I would say someone who is nurturing. I've been through a lot in the last 7 months physically, and I was like always wondering, like, who's really gonna be there for me? Like, who's gonna help me? I don't want to be that person who has to be the nurturing person in the relationship only. So that is a quality that I am definitely looking for outside of his relationship with God. I'm going to pass it on to Auntie Robin.
Okay, thank you, Auntie Stacy. So I would say I want him to be able to know me, and I want him to be able to make a decision. You know how some guys, you go out, they just don't, whatever you want. No, I want you to be able to make sound-minded decisions about our future, about our life together. I don't want to be the one, making all the suggestions and go, oh yeah, that's a good idea. No, so I want a man who can sit in the driver's seat and, and I'm very comfortable with that. And I know that I'm going in the right direction with you. So that's something that that's definitely got to be on my list. I want that because I was with men who kind of just wanted me to make all the decisions. Where are we going to go for vacation? Oh, wherever you want. Don't you have it? Or whatever you want. No, I want you to be able to know me, know what I like, know what I won't like, and then you can plan that for us. And I can be comfortable with that. And just to talk to Precious, before I was single 7 years ago, I was in a relationship for 25 years. So it was like we were married. Like we would walk, everyone said, oh, your wife, your husband. I would go, no, that's not my husband. I made it sure, we've been together for 25 years, but he's not my husband. And I also, Sheila had a lot of divorce going on in my family, and I never wanted to be married. I had a child out of wedlock. I was with with my son's father for 25 years. I was in long-term relationships. I didn't really date a lot of quick, years. When I went into a relationship, it was a long-term relationship. So 17 years, 25 years, but I wasn't married to either one of these men. And I didn't want to be married. But now at 65, I have a whole different outlook about what I want. And now it won't happen without marriage.
Robin,
I just don't want a relationship.
Okay, Robin, before you pass it on, you just said something. So you had the 25-year relationship and the 17-year relationship, and you didn't want to get married. And the reason why you didn't want to get married, I'm just curious.
Because I never saw successful marriages in my family. My parents were divorced. My aunts were divorced. My cousins were divorced. I mean, there were very few marriages that went long term. Either they got married and they were divorced. Like my parents divorced after 30, 40 years of marriage, they divorced. So I never saw anything that I would say, no, I'm okay, we're good. I'm okay with this, I'm good with just living together, being, platonic. But I made sure that you did not claim me as a wife and I did not claim you as a husband. I was very clear on that, wherever we went, And even with his family, and of course, in 25 years, you go to everybody's wedding, everybody's graduation. So I was very close to his family, both of them, very close to their families, and especially with Ron, because we had a child. James, I didn't have a child, but Ron and I had a child. So I mean, I can really relate to a lot of what is said in this panel, and I'm really happy to be here today to have this experience. I didn't really know what it was. I watched a couple on Instagram just to kind of get a feel of Hey Auntie and what it was about. But I'm like, do I have anything that I could say? Do I have anything to really contribute to anything? But it has been very encouraging for me to listen to your auntie stories and your dating stories. And I just wanted to kind of share that. And this says Michelle.
Oh yeah, okay. Okay. Well, I also want to say, like, I think that is so awesome. Like, you absolutely don't look 65, but I think it's awesome that you're still like open to finding that person, because like also growing up in my church, like I felt like a lot of women just gave up, like, and they're still young and they just like gave up. They were just like, like not even like, God, if you bring me this person, like they were just like, nah, like I'm done at a young age. So I think that's really good on you and inspiring, like, you're only as old as you feel, and I do believe that it's never too late to like find that person that you want to spend your life with, no matter how long that is. But so something for me, he has to make me laugh, like genuinely laugh, because I'm such an easy laugh. Like I laugh at everything. I find the stupidest things funny. So I have to find him like really funny. That's just very attractive to me, to have like a good sense of humor. So I'm gonna pass it to Auntie Annette. Even though
Hi,
she's
Liz.
married.
This was very informative to me, and just to hear from us as older women and then from the younger group. So I've really been blessed by each and every one of you. I commend you, young ladies. I hear that you know your value, that you know who you are. But I want to encourage you, because I'm also from a divorced family. And it's so funny that my husband and I lasted as long as we did, because we went through our changes. Everything wasn't perfect, but when you keep Christ first and know who you are in him, and also like Auntie said in the beginning, there was a time, like in her first marriage, she lost herself. There was a time me and my husband went through, I lost me. And I think he lost himself, and we're raised our children. And I think now we're both at that point of learning ourselves again and learning each other. So it feels like I'm in a dating with my husband all over again, and he's dating his wife all over again. So it's like we're starting off fresh again. And outside of like success, God first. But I think at this stage, and not just with words, but be listening and opening with his emotions just as well, and just be a good listener. Just really be a good listener, and not just with only the ear, but baby, hear with the heart.
Annette, you're a little
for some of
broken
the other
up.
youngies, I was hearing you.
Annette,
I'm
can
a
you
little
hear me?
broken up. Can you hear me now?
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay, say that last
Okay.
part again, because you're a little broken up.
I was just saying where, oh, did y'all hear the part where I was saying like me and my husband's dating each other all over again? So, okay. And I would just need someone to be at this stage in my life, just a listener, just to hear me out. Don't have to have all the answers, but just listen,
Sounds good. Yeah, that men have that
And I'm
issue
gonna
of,
pass it to,
men have
I'm
that
passing
issue
it
of they
to
want to solve the
Naya.
problem. They got daddy
Yes,
issues, or they
that's
want to
the
be the
issue.
daddy. No, just hear me. Don't give me an answer, just hear me. Okay, go ahead,
Yeah,
Miss
don't
Naya.
have to solve it.
Sorry, this is very in the room with three people on the same it's tricky, y'all. It's very tricky. Don't worry. I feel like it won't happen again, and if it does, and we're in the same space, we're gonna be in different rooms. Everybody go on timeout and be in a room because it's a lot. I want to say, first of all, everything everyone has said thus far is on my list. Yeah, add it to my list if it wasn't there already. But I would say the next, or one of the top things from my list that hasn't been said yet is I need, okay, so it's a twofold, I think, because I need peace and I need like the willingness to grow. So I say it's twofold because in growing and in the changing of seasons, it may not always seem or feel peaceful, but are we really, like, are we at peace within ourselves? So, you know, in regards to, are you going to ride with me as I grow? And sometimes it may be good, bad, and ugly, the growth process and the growing pains. And are you going to allow me to do the same for you? I think peace is really big for me just because I feel like I'm a pretty peaceful person. Like, I don't have much drama in my life now. Maybe in the past I've had, but not now. And I love it here. That's why I watch so much reality TV, because I'd rather watch the drama on TV than in my own life. So I need peace. Like, yes, I expect us to have disagreements, but I've always said I want quiet arguments or peaceful arguments. And I think one of the funniest trends that I've seen on social media right now is like arguing like this close, but whispering. I think it's the funniest thing because how long are you going to stay that way and stay upset? So I just need peace. Like, again, I understand the disagreements, and I know it's not going to always be peaches and cream and everything's all flowers and lilies, but I do feel like in the midst of whatever disagreement, do we have the bottom line of peace? So for me, it's peace and to growing in that evolution of like, you're going to grow, you're going to change. I want to continue to learn you peacefully. The same in reverse. So yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Featuring my box, featuring Michelle. Precious, what's on your list, Auntie?
It's funny we even on this topic though. Me and my sister was talking a couple of days ago and was talking about how like my grandma haven't been with a man in 29 years. Then her mom, when she passed away, she wasn't with the man for a long time. And then my mom not with a man. I was all like, girl, we can't die without a man. But someone that is able to, someone that knows how to express themselves. Like that's big for me. For you to be able to express yourself without it being like so complicated, or we have to leave and come back and just, yeah. I need someone that can express, that knows how to express herself. So that's on my list. And someone that can stimulate my mind with their words. Yeah. I can't hear you.
I'm telling y'all, it's hard. Okay, let me give y'all an inside scoop. If I don't mute, we hear echoes, and I think y'all hear the echoes too. So I try to mute, and I'm in the middle of the two of them. Pause. What I'm saying. Sheila, you said communication at its finest. I was saying yes, that is exactly what that is, Precious. Is there anybody that didn't go? Can you pass it on, Precious? Did everybody go?
Auntie Stacy? Did Stacy go?
Stacy went.
Yeah.
I think everybody went.
I think we went.
Sheila, you didn't start?
No, I started. I said last Auntie Alyssa.
Oh yeah.
Thank you very much.
Auntie Lee is what she
Auntie Lily, you know.
Oh, Auntie Lily.
I like to call myself Big Sheila's sidekick, but she done dropped me. No. Yes, you can tell I said that too. So no, for me, it's communication. Communication. And it can be communication about anything and everything, but we got to be able to talk about the Bible to fashion, whatever. You just communicate. And I have to say this with a caveat: my previous relationship was not a great communicator. When he wanted to, he did. But other than that, have a regular conversation. I have to tell you this: and I'll make you laugh. Now you'll be like, what? When we got married and we went on our honeymoon, there was a fear inside of me. And it was like, oh my gosh, we went to, I forgot where, we went to Maine. Such a great honeymoon. We went to Maine, but I was scared because it was just gonna be me and him. That's it. Naya and Nigel were already born. No Naya, no kids, just me and him. We have to talk. Oh shoot, what are we gonna talk about? Like I remember having that thought and praying because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm already married him. Did I really make a mistake? You know what I'm saying? So it was a reality. And the honeymoon was fine. It was all right if we lived and all, and it lasted, I don't know, 10 years after that, whatever the case may be. But now I have a great communicator, sometimes over communicating. Sometimes I want to be brush that up. So, but I love it, you know, and we have great communication about anything and everything. And I love that about him, you know. So yeah, that's the thing that I would look for is a good communicator. And he's also he's into politics. I'm not. So he'll come and educate me on the politics. I'm like, oh, that's what's going on. All right, cool. And I'll go back into my little cocoon. So I can find out what's going on in the world and vice versa. I'll tell him about stuff that he may not know about. So that is it for me. Anybody have any questions? We are running out of time and I'm trying not to have us drop back in. So if anybody has any questions, oh, Princess Michelle, her hand is raised. Go ahead, girl.
So I have a question for you, actually. Like, did you ever feel like you got past, like you were nervous to be alone with him, just him, like, what are we going to talk about? Did you ever feel like you got over that?
No.
Man.
Let me unmute. No, because the conversation, as I look back on the years, the conversation was always either about the children, their schools, their activities, or whatever the case may be, or the conversation was about church stuff because we were both in ministry. So the gossip of the, you know, of the church or whatever the ministries and what's going on, it was that. You know, occasionally about work, but really not about work. So there was no common ground that we could talk about. And of course, as years went on and things started happening, I don't know, no more French 75 for these two over here. I tell you, no more French 75 for them. Y'all help me. We're actually going out later tonight. Y'all pray for me, please. Okay.
The crazy part is she's not drinking the French 75. So we are, and we're okay. She's drinking lemonade and iced tea. I think it's just
don't.
What did she say? I missed it. Okay. Anyway, so does that answer the question? No, I don't think we ever got over it. Now, I have to say this, because God is awesome. And I know that he loves us. And Sheila, I see your hand. I'm going to come to you. To make a very long story short, we were able to all now be in the same setting. So the mixed, blended family, myself and my husband and him and his fiance with all our kids and all that stuff. And it's beautiful. So God does come and fix where it got crazy. Now, do I call him on a regular? Not. But if he would call me and say, hey, let's talk about, I want to do something special for Naya or something special for Nigel, or how are you? That's cool. And I like that, but don't call me all the time, bro. So, you know, kind of thing. You know, he calls her and then she tells me. So it's the relationship and the communication is good. Like to be able to sit at a dinner table with all of us and have conversation and no one's fussing and fighting and no drama. I was like, oh my God, thank you. Because I prayed about that. Yeah. So it was awesome. Go ahead, Ms. Sheila. What were you gonna say, babe?
One, love to see the pictures of that. When I saw that, I was like, okay, now look at God. But two, I was gonna say I was a horrible communicator, and my situationship taught me really how to communicate. When you said, Auntie, what you said you wanted your name to be, Layla, Alyssa, what you said you wanted your name to be?
Auntie Lee.
Auntie Lily. Okay, yeah. So when Auntie Lily said communication, I was like, you know what? Before I hated communication. I'd be like this. I'd be like, come on. You're doing too much. You're just doing too much. Like, but now, I think one of my biggest things that I don't like is assumptions. And I think that for me is a trigger. It's like, hold on, because I was not a good communicator. and now I'm communicating, but you're assuming. So I think that was just a little tidbit when you said that, Auntie Lily. It made me think about that, like, something that again, y'all, I was horrible, horrible. But I got better. But now assumptions, don't assume, because I'm communicating now. So when you said that, just made me think about that.
Precious, I saw you were saying something or mouthing something. Did you want to say something?
Well, I just said I agree.
Oh, okay.
I agree with her. Yeah,
all right. Go ahead now. You wanted to say something. Go ahead.
Well, we have 1 minute and 56 seconds left, but I did want to bring up, what to you guys is defining a relationship? Like, at what point do you feel like, okay, we need to define the relationship now, or whatever have you? This derives from a post that I saw on social media that said like 6 dates that you should go on before defining the relationship. And I don't know if I should go into it with 1 minute and 30 seconds left. Okay, real fast. Be like, hold on, I gotta go back to 1. Because I was at 6. Okay, so the first one is the screener date. The second one was a vibey date, a dinner date, an activity date, an educational date, and a friend date. And I can share this with them. I think it was vibey. Vibey. So once you met in real life, both of you decided you're interested, it's time to start actually getting to know each other and filling out the chemistry and the connection. I like doing a drink date or skipping to do a meal. So I guess go to a place that's vibey is what that's considered. But my question to you is like, what to you is defining moment of defining the relationship? But this is gonna cut off in less than a minute. So maybe we should just come up and do that one. And it won't be for too much longer.
Yes.
With 20 seconds on the clock, I feel
Sheila,
like
we can't hear you.
You hear me now? Oh, okay. With 20 seconds on the clock, because I feel like it's like 20 seconds left. I feel that we as women have that intuition that tells us yay, nay, up, down, left, right, is that 100%. Yeah. It's like,
no? I was lost. I got lost. You finished, Sheila?
Sheila, you muted yourself in the middle of a sentence.
I wasn't sure if it was gonna cut off.
For me, it's communication. Communication. And it can be communication about anything and everything, but we got to be able to talk about the Bible to fashion, whatever. You just communicate.
But two, I was gonna say I was a horrible communicator, and my situationship taught me really how to communicate. When you said, Auntie, what you said you wanted your name to be? Alyssa, what you said you wanted your name to be?
Auntie Lee.
Auntie Lily. Okay, yeah. So when Auntie Lily said communication, I was like, you know what? Before, I hated communication. I'd be like this. I'd be like, come on. You're doing too much. You're just doing too much. But now, I think one of my biggest things that I don't like is assumptions. And I think that for me is a trigger. It's like, hold on, because I was not a good communicator, and now I'm communicating, but you're assuming. So I think that was just a little tidbit when you said that, Auntie Lily. It made me think about that, like, something that again, y'all, I was horrible. But I got better. But now assumptions, don't assume, because I'm communicating now. So when you said that, just made me think about that.
Precious, I saw you were saying something or mouthing something. Did you want to say something?
Well, I just said I agree.
Oh, okay.
I agree with her. Yeah,
all right. Go ahead now. You wanted to say something. Go ahead.
Well, we have 1 minute and 56 seconds left, but I did want to bring up, what to you guys is defining a relationship? Like, at what point do you feel like, okay, we need to define the relationship now, or whatever have you?
We're sorry, but this recording ends quickly because of technical difficulties. No worries, we will chat about this again. Meanwhile, we leave with this: what and when is a relationship defined? Leave a comment below.